This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up, Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, along with fellow Manchild, Johnny Karlic.
Harvey Dent, can we trust him?
You know what? I'm glad you picked that voice to do today, because there is my favorite hero is under attack, Johnny. And he's not just under attack on any day, he's under attack on his birthday. It is like Matt Reeves tweeted out a happy birthday to Batman. Hey, here's a tease at what the new Batman logo might look like. We have a new Pennyworth series that's going to be coming to DC Universe. We're actually going to talk about that today. But my superhero, my guy, Batman, is under attack, and we're going to get into that as well. Before I go into the show, first off, welcome in to the Rick and Johnny podcast, your one-stop shop for movies, entertainment, TV, nerd culture, superheroes, basically, Johnny, everything under the two nerdy suns. Today we are diving into Zack Snyder attacking superheroes and Batman, just going after all of them and basically being a huge baby. We're going to go into that. I have some strong feelings and opinions about Mr. Schneider, Mr. Zack Snyder. We're also going to look at that Pennyworth TV series we got a trailer for at WonderCon. We're going to talk about that. What should we expect from this Batman prequel? And then we're going to end the show with some good old-fashioned Star Wars and look at a Star Wars 9 theory involving Kylo Ren and Rey as we get ready for that movie at the end of 2019. Before we dive into everything, two things I got for you guys. First off, make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. It's the lifeblood of MVP. It's how you guys help support us, make sure we can keep doing what we do for you guys each and every day, each and every week, and you can support us for as low as $1. And if you join us at the $10 tier, you can come join a podcast that you want once a month and talk about the topics you would like to talk about, or the topic you would like to talk about. Also, make sure to check out our Dumbo review. We went and saw Dumbo. We did the review. Make sure to check that out. That's on mostvaluablepodcasts.com and podcast services around the world, and, of course, our YouTube page. But, Johnny, let's get into everything. And the first thing on the docket is a little bit about good old Zack Snyder. Like, I'll be completely honest. I can't wait until the day I never have to hear his name when we talk about DC movies anymore. Because it just seems like the first thing I will say is he's actually smart in these comments, because by saying that, because getting fat nerds like me, or nerds in general like me, upset about the comments, he actually wins, because then we talk about him, we get his name in the internet, and he continues to stay relevant. Which part of me is like, kudos to you, Zack Snyder, but I am going to fall for your trap right here. So, Johnny, we're going to look at why Zack Snyder is wrong about not just Batman, but superheroes in general. And the kind of article, the fodder that we have at the start to go off of is, first off, Zack Snyder was, during the event, Zack Snyder, the Director's Cut charity event that he held at Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, he said a few things. And one quote I have here, this is about his defense of his murderous Batman. He said, and I quote, "Once you lost your virginity to this effing movie," talking about Watchmen, "and you come and say to me something about like, my superhero wouldn't do that," I'm like, are you serious? I'm like down the effing road on that. It's a cool point of view to be like, my superheroes are innocent. That's cool, but you're living in an effing dream world. And not just has he attacked Batman. Well, I'm saying attacked Batman. He's defending his version, which is wrong, in my opinion. There is also, I'm looking for if there's the quote here. There's not an exact quote in this article. There's a video. But Zack Snyder talked about, so the tweet says from @Boomborks, if you want to look it up. Zack Snyder talked about CBMs and how he enjoys watching the Avengers movie, but you also have to be open to other ideas. Johnny, this just sounds to me like Zack Snyder's all upset that we didn't like his movie and we gotta be open to other ideas. That's what it sounds like to me. Anyways, what does this sound like to you, though, before I completely lose my mind?
I'm trying to think how to go about what he's saying, because yeah, it sounds like he's trying to defend his version of Batman, but I mean, you don't, just because you didn't make as good as a movie, and don't try to compare it to Marvel one, because yours wasn't that good. They found their formula and they're sticking to it for the most part.
But what did they do at the beginning, Johnny? Phase 1, was Marvel taking risks?
I mean,
no. They were staying cookie cutter to what the comic fan would like.
The initial movie was the risk, and then they stuck with. They're like, okay, this formula sort of works. Let's stick with it.
But like, think about it this way: like, we have gripes now about like, oh, that's different from the comics. I don't know if I would have done that. But nobody on the Marvel side with the newer movies gets super freak out if they change something from the comics. It's because we've built a trust with Marvel.
Yeah.
That yes, we know you did something different, but we trust you that you're going to make a good movie. If you come out right away going, hey, we're changing this, we're going to be different, comic book fans, we're all the same. We love these characters. We see ourselves in these characters.
We at least like you, like Marvel does, at least taking from source materials.
Yes.
And yeah, you make your own alterations and make it your own, but at least they're sticking with source materials, and then they're referencing things from the comics just for fun. At least they're doing all that.
Because, like, my biggest thing I just want to look at the Batman comment, where I'm going to read it one more time, where he said, once you lost your virginity to this effing movie, Watchmen. First off, right there, I look at that and go, really, dude? Like, I get you're trying to be edgy, and you're an edgy guy, and you like dark movies. But, like, come on, have a little tact. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin Feige would never come out and say that. But the more important part is when he's saying, like, I'm down the road, you got to be open to new ideas. Like, when you're saying your superheroes are innocent, you're living in a dream world. First off, superheroes are a dream world for us.
Exactly.
They're an escape for people. It's an escape from the real life. And for me, this is me personally, and if you're a Batman fan out there, whether you agree with Zack Snyder, whether you disagree with Zack Snyder, I want to ask you this question. I'm talking to you, the Batman fan, right now. Whether you agree or disagree with Zack, is it not been one of the best things about Batman has been his kind of, I want to call it like a code of justice, where it's like, yes, I want to bring this guy in, but I am not going to stoop to their level. Because it was always to me that Batman had this line that he was not going to cross. You do not kill. Because if he crossed that line and he killed somebody, he is just as bad as the Joker. He is just as bad as him. And that was the divide of like, yes, we are very similar. I take the law into my own hands, but I don't do that. I will not cross over into that insanity.
The one thing I'm going to make a slight counter argument to your side, and I'm not defending Zack Snyder when I say this, because that's not where he came from when he made his comments.
Exactly.
1970s Batman did kill. It was let me see. I actually looked it up. He did it, but it was like it was a decision made, and Batman's had to make exceptions. But like that's 70s Batman. It's not like he said, well, I went with like the 1970s Batman era where, yes, he killed people. But this was like just, he made no defense in that case. He just said, oh, well, open up your mind. Stuff like it's like, well, no. And what you and I are used to is the 1990s Batman.
Yeah, we're not used
killing.
to the 70s Batman.
Exactly.
We weren't alive when it was
But I'm saying, like, if he had made an argument like that, I could say, okay, fine.
Even Adam
you made your argument.
Even Adam West Batman didn't kill. I know it was on TV. And
in the 60s, it said him neither his villains killed. In the 70s, they eased up, and Batman would kill occasionally. But it's like, okay, but you didn't like state that. You stated, open up your mind, have a different opinion. It's like, okay, if you had made an argument for making it like, okay, I went with this era Batman. This Batman does kill.
Yeah.
okay, fine. I would say, okay, I'll let it go. But he did not. Therefore, his argument is like just being a kind of a dick about things.
And here's the thing of why I'll be honest, I hate Zack Snyder. I've never met him. I've never talked to him. I don't even know him personally. But I'm not gonna say hate. I'm gonna take it back. I strongly dislike Zack Snyder.
That's probably a better way to.
Hate's a strong word.
It is a strong word.
I've only hated a few people in my life, and I can count them all on one hand, mainly with 2 fingers. But I strongly dislike him, and the reason why is, first off, this attitude that I get from this quote of like, first off, I can see why you're doing it because I'm assuming at a charity event that he is running, most of the people there are going to be on his side.
Exactly.
So he might be feeding in to the audience. I want to give him that benefit of the doubt. But when I read these, I go, dude, totally immature. Like,
exactly.
Like that takes away in general. But here's the thing that I have the most problem with is I don't have a problem with him saying the open your mind thing. Because there are parts where I feel like comic book fans, we need to be open to new things.
We do,
like,
yeah.
The movies and these producers and everything are not going to do everything exactly like it is in the comics.
They're not going to
copy
and paste.
That would be extremely boring. It would be like...
And kind of difficult.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Exactly, because you can do things in print that you can't do on the silver screen.
Exactly.
Because in print, anything is possible. Even like in animation, anything is possible. In the real world, you have physical limitations.
And that's the great part about the movies is they kind of play into those, depending on which ones. I mean, obviously, there's Superman, there's Thor, there's Hulk, and those things are unrealistic. But to some degree, some of them try to like dial it back to this wouldn't be able to happen in this case.
And I will say this, just to go off of that, is the reason why I hate the Batman thing so much, and like I bring up the killing thing, and like, is Batman killing, just him killing in general, bad? No. But what it tells me is that you completely disregarded what the actual character was about, because the Batman that has been set up in the DCEU that Nolan has done, like, I know Nolan wasn't DCEU, like technically BVS was the first true Batman we were getting.
Yeah, okay,
DCEU. But the Batman that DC has always done and Warner Brothers has always done is kind of like that I don't kill. But it's a line that you can play with and a story element that is so relatable of like, because how many times have we been, like you could be the perfectly sane person and just somebody gets you so mad to where you just say the statement of like, oh, fuck, I want to kill him. Like, but you're actually not going to do it.
You're never going to do it.
But, like, you just say it. Batman plays with this line because there are some things where if Batman, I bet you Batman would love to take the Joker's neck and just snap it like a couple pieces of celery.
Thomas Wayne it?
Like, just bam and break it off. Yeah, Thomas Wayne it. But it's a line that, there's a mental kind of line that, like, you play with there. And it's relatable to the watcher of like, oh my God, he is fighting these feelings, kind of similar to how like I fight things in my real life. Like that's what you can sit there and it draws you in. Just to say, no, we went off of the 70s Batman. Well, there was no setup to that Batman. You just dropped this Batman in. We were all expecting what we have kind of been set up for from DC movies, and you did a 180, and it's like, whoa, where is this coming from?
But like I was saying, I can understand if he had gone back and made the argument of like, hey, I went with a 70s era Batman where, yeah, he's going to kill
Set
when he
it up
needs
a
to.
little bit better.
I'm saying, and it doesn't even need to be set up in the movie that way.
Yeah.
Because guess what? It's up to his interpretation, just like us thinking like when we like drop into the movie, we have an expectation, but we also need to realize, okay, had he decided to go a different era Batman, just like different era Thor, Wolverine, whatever. That was their choice to go in that stylistic era, but he didn't make that argument. He just said, open up your mind, blah, 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 compared to the Watchmen, then compared to Avengers. That's like when we did the topic of, I don't remember who said it, but the argument that you didn't see Nick Fury not do it.
Oh yeah, that was in the Captain Marvel.
The Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I think that was the director. Was that it?
I don't remember, but like didn't use the pager basically.
Oh, that was Kevin Feige.
Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
it's like
Feige said that.
Feige. It's just like,
that was the one time you were like, man, I'm usually behind Kevin Feige, but I gotta tell it, Kevin Feige, that was a weak ass answer.
Yeah, and we actually gave him like, hey, this is maybe the answer you should have given. Same to you, Snyder. You should have like maybe done your research or something, and not just
should have done your research. I love it.
You should
not saying that he hadn't done his research, but I want to say that he did.
On your fucking argument, though.
Oh yeah, okay. I thought you were talking about should have done research on Batman, bruh.
No, you should have done your fucking research before you made this dumbass argument.
Yeah.
No. And I'm sorry if anyone gets mad that I'm swearing about this, but I get pissed when someone just makes dumb comments like this.
And just kind of speaks stupidly.
Speaks out of their ass and goes, again, well, you didn't see him not do it. Or what was the quote again? Open up your mind.
Yeah. There's another. I thought this article that I had is going to have it written out. But there's another tweet of. So the tweet says, lol. Zack shutting that shit down. It's basically about how I'm assuming it's the one he made about Batman, because the front of it is Zack Snyder explains why his heroes aren't innocent, and that's kind of a thing I want to get to, is the heroes not being innocent is not the problem, because I want to go back to his Man of Steel movie.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Man of Steel. Like, Man of Steel, to me, I remember sitting in a theater with Dave. My biggest gripe was they didn't have a post-credit scene. But that was like at the beginning of the DCEU.
And they're not really.
Marvel was just training us on that, to where I just expected all superhero movies to do it, because it then teases the next thing that you guys are thinking about.
I think that's because DC was testing the waters, because they were like, I don't know what's going to happen yet.
And they probably didn't want to copy Marvel exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But like the thing I liked about Man of Steel, although I didn't think it was a perfect movie, is I liked how they tackled one of the biggest challenges with Superman in a movie, is making him relatable to a human. Like, making him relatable to an actual human. Because, oh man, for this conversation, I wish Pete, who has joined us on our wrestling discussions, was here, because he's a huge Superman fan. And the thing that he always... Me and him have gotten into arguments before. Not like real, like, hated arguments.
Not heated, but like just...
But just, I should say, more of a discussion.
Yeah.
Because I'm Batman.
Debate, maybe.
Exactly. I'm Batman, he's Superman. And the reason why Batman has always been my favorite superhero is, from a kid, he has been the most relatable to me. Out of any superhero, if I truly wanted to, I could be Batman tomorrow. I could put in the work physically, I could spend money, and become Batman. Now, of course, you're probably saying, well, Ricky, you're not a billionaire, but you can become a budget Batman. How many of them do? Like the Seattle area, when you'd see on YouTube, like this guy walks down the street and he's like a modern day superhero. Like, that is Batman. People can do that. Also, he's an actual person. He's one of us. And like, the demons that are in his head from the trauma of losing his parents is very relatable. Where my biggest problem with Superman from a kid standpoint, why I never associated, never connected with him, is I never related to him. I can't be that. I can't be Superman, because I'm not Kryptonian and I don't have those superpowers. But like Pete goes into, like, for him, he was so relatable to Superman, because that is Superman's problem, of him relating to us. And it's basically like the old Superman of like do the right thing, and like the comics they would have where it was like the PSAs about Superman. It was about like do the right thing, be a right student. If you see bullying, tell your teachers about it, like stuff like that. And I like how Zack Snyder in Man of Steel tried to make Superman human in some way. Yeah. Tried to make him human. And I feel like that's the biggest challenge for a Superman movie. That's why I was like, oh, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't step away from it long. That was a fantastic movie. I mean, like, that was an okay movie. Because, you know, I mean, there's some elements to it. It's like, okay, I got none of the actual... I felt like I didn't get any of the actual Superman we knew.
Yeah, it wasn't dark. Like, you could say it was dark, but it was, to me, real.
It was real, but it was like borderlining Batman. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like I'm talking about like the colors and like how the like.
Well, that too, but I mean the tone was like the tone.
Just like, yeah, it's a little closer to Batman, but it's like...
To me, it was like a little too close to Batman, where it's like you could have had a little few times where he was a little bit more, like...
Superman-y?
Yeah, let's just go use that as a verb or a adjective, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Superman-y about things. I wanted to see a little bit more of that in that movie, but
like
I mean...
the great American hero kind of thing.
Because
like
I mean...
1950s action comics where he's...
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, just even like in the cartoons we used to watch, or he was like a little bit Boy Scoutish.
That's what we're looking for.
And they didn't hit that until...
Justice League.
Yeah, they didn't hit that till Justice League when Superman revived. Spoilers if somehow you haven't seen that by now.
Justice League was the perfect Superman.
It was.
It was the perfect Superman.
When he finally came to up there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and
that was Superman.
And that, of course, was like oh shit, we fucked up. We got to kind of reboot some stuff here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's not like I have a problem with everything Zack Snyder's done. Like Watchmen I remember watching that in high school and loving it.
Watchmen was great. I loved it.
I can say I am one of the few people that saw it early enough in theaters I saw the massive blue dong. Because after a couple weeks, they were like, we can't show that.
We need to take that out.
Yeah, they basically cut the massive blue. They cut it to where you see him walking, but it's like cut off at the waist. Yeah, on screen, I saw massive blue dong. And every time Manhattan was walking around, it was just sitting there swinging. It was just swinging left to right. And it was like, as a high school kid, a little, A, intimidating. B, was like, I can't take my eyes off it. Why can't I take look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. Okay, this is weird. Look back down at it. Nope, that's weirder. Look, it was just a weird thing for a high school student who's trying to, mature and come into his own.
Yeah.
But, Ricky and Little Ricky got through it. But basically, like,
is that what you call it?
Yeah, Little Ricky. I didn't have a problem with Watchmen. I didn't have a problem with Man of Steel. My biggest problem with this is that you have a core of a character. Like, let's bring back the Marvel thing that you brought up earlier. Of like, yes, they might try some risks and do something different with the story, but whether it's Captain America, whether it's Iron Man, whether it's Thor, whether it's Captain Marvel, whether it's Spider-Man, they never change who the character is and how they act.
Exactly.
They don't change their personality. They change the storylines around them. And I feel like that's why fans are so upset with this, because they felt like it was, you are changing a big key personality trait with Bruce Wayne, with Batman.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, again, like I said with the 70s Batman thing, I'll go back to that one because...
you're right.
He still made a choice though. Like I'll read it verbatim. The first thing that comes up when you type "did 70s Batman kill?"
Yeah.
After being revised in verbatim. After being revised in 1964, Batman would never kill, and usually neither would his villains. It was all heavily censored. The censorship was eased in the 70s. Very recently, Batman did kill and use a gun, but it wasn't a simple retcon or editorial mistake. It was a decision made in Batman's mind to make an exception. He made exceptions. So, like, okay, this person, this is the only way this is going to happen. Like, but, didn't he kill, like, multiple just low-tier grunts in Batman v Superman?
Yeah, where Gatling gun is just
exactly,
basically like in the little crack house that he was raiding or something.
The warehouse,
wasn't warehouse.
It? Yeah, that was like near the end-ish area. Of the
it was
movie.
just like
middle.
For me. Yet again, didn't grow up on 70s Batman.
Exactly, I get that.
I grew up on the Batman where it was like knock him unconscious, tie him up, leave him hanging, and stuff like that. Also, I find it funny, the last thing I was going to bring up with Zack Snyder was he, what's the phrasing I want to use for this? Explains what led to the Martha scene in BVS.
Yeah, I didn't read that one.
And I'll read you the quote.
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, it's funny because screenwriter Chris Terrio and we did reach that point in the movie in our discussions. We knew how to get them to fight, right? But how do you get them to stop fighting?
You kill
That's
them.
a tough one. we sort of were just throwing down on their humanity, and Batman realizes Superman has humanity. He's not a creature. He's a man. He's an alien, but he is as human as, in a lot of ways, he's more human than him, right? He's sort of embraced all the good parts of the human race. And so Batman's able to sort of see, in a lot of ways, a thing that he is not. And I think that was how we started to talk about it. Then we started to talk about how it could work, and if it was Lois that said it, maybe it's better. It's that kind of thing. Look, it's a mythological construct. I have no problem with that part of it. And for me, I listen to that, and the first thing I think of is like, Zach, you're right. How do you get them to stop fighting? Mm-hmm. It's what we talked about, how Superman, I didn't see him as human, much like Batman did not.
Exactly.
But
he just saw him as a threat.
He takes the good parts of, he wants to see the good in humanity. And I just feel, me personally, the Martha thing wasn't the right way to do it. Do I have an option of like, yes, you should have did this instead? No. But I just feel like, that's something, because we even see it on our side. We're like, we have a podcast, we have a video that we're going to do, and we mean to say it like this, and you never know how something is going to land.
Yeah,
anything
exactly.
we say on a podcast, anything that we put out, we don't know. Like this discussion, we don't know how many Zack Snyder fans clicked out after 2 minutes after I called him a whiny baby at the beginning.
Yeah.
Before we actually started a discussion, and I got all my immaturities out at the beginning of the segment. But like, that's something that I look at with this is, you could have all these thoughts of like, yeah, this is what we were thinking, but it didn't land right. Mm-hmm. That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Yeah, you know what?
I feel like I'm a lawyer trying to like make my case for why Zack Snyder's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, and here's the other thing. It's going to kind of hit like, not that either you, how do I phrase this? Mm-hmm. I'm not as critical on that scene as you are, for example, because I know you didn't like that scene. You thought it was dumb. What, am I correct?
The Martha scene?
Yeah.
Dude, totally stupid.
The only thing I think about, too, is jumping back into the movie when you have, like, nightmares like he did, where you see your mother's grave and you see, blood come out of it and a bat was shot out of it, right?
Say that one more time.
In the dream sequence, his mother, there was blood dripping out of the grave, and then all of a sudden this bat monster shot out of it. Did it not? Am I remember that correctly?
I think it may have been a parademon.
Whatever it was.
Not a bat monster, a parademon.
It may have been the parademon. Okay, I didn't remember what it was. Mm-hmm. But something popped out of her grave. That kind of sticks in your mind, and like there's probably something that, like, in the back of his mind he's still thinking about over and over again, even when he's fighting Superman, when he's doing all the research on this other shit. And then all of a sudden someone says his mom's name, and goes, "Why'd you say that?" Like, it was the scripted kind of dumb in that sense at that point. "Why'd you say that name?"
Exactly.
But it's like, it would have been more so better if he just like dropped the thing and just like backed off or something, or found another way to go about. Like, I get maybe the idea of using the same name thing, but go a different way about using it then.
I just came up with how I would do it.
Okay, go ahead.
I would change it. So take the Martha thing, throw it in the garbage, burn it on fire. We never see that ever again. While they're fighting, or something in their fight, something that either Lex has done, or to me, what would hit more is, because of their fighting, a building structure starts to fail. And you see, to me, I'm thinking like a little girl, or like a little girl and their mother, basically like a few people, like 2, maybe 3 people that look like they're in danger. And in that moment, Superman breaks out of whatever fight that he's in with Batman and zooms over to save them. And Batman sees this, and in that point realizes that, I know it's not going with the entirety of the like humanity thing, like, hey, we both have the same mother named Martha. Really, Zach? That's your point of connecting just because we had this. Your mom, like our moms could have the same name, but your mom could be an asshole. Like the name doesn't mean anything to me. Not that your mom is an asshole. She's a beautiful lady and a great lady, just much like mine. But that's my point. Like the name doesn't mean anything. But if Batman saw Superman jump into action, he would see like, oh, I get it now. He's not a monster. He's not an alien. He sees himself as one of us and cares about us and wants just the best for this world. Maybe that's me reading into it. Maybe someone else would see that and it wouldn't land right. But that to me right there of actually seeing Superman jump into action, a careless action to save a little girl or a girl and her mother or something, would get that same point across without having, why'd you say that name? I love my mother. No, that's fucking stupid. Come on, man. What do you think? Am I being too critical of it?
No, I can agree with you to some degree on going about it that way, but I think what would make it more humanitarian, I guess, to try and find, probably lack of a better word, you have to put Superman in some sort of imminent danger because, yeah, we already know, and I think Batman even knows, he's invincible to most of this stuff. A building's going to fall. All he has to do, really, if he wanted to, was huddle over them and use his body as a shield.
Yeah.
But, like, let's say, I don't know, something with the kryptonite that Batman keeps using is, like, still weak in his state. Or, like, there's, like, he like, nicked him and there's, like, some kryptonite still on where it's, like, something to make him actually like him in danger and save the family. Then I'll go with that one, only because like that's kind of troping it out.
It's a work in progress.
I'm just telling you though.
Cut.
I'm just saying though that's like kind of troping it out. Whereas like put him in himself in danger.
The image that I had in my head because I'm thinking of that final scene where like there's fire all around is some type of stone going to be falling on the family. Superman is there to pull it up. You see the strain on his face because, yes, he's Superman, but still, there are some things where it's like, dude, you were just trying, like, you were giving all your energy to fight Batman. Like, that could affect you in some way. Some Superman stan will tell me I'm wrong, which do because I'm more of a Batman guy than a Superman guy, but I'm seeing strain on his face as he's just pushing it up, fire all around. To where if I'm watching like Batman from the outside, not only do I see that, but it adds that danger aspect that you're talking about.
Yeah, again, like that's why like the things I know about Superman, it's like those aren't really danger for him. Whereas like again, or if you made it so that like they both swing into action because hey, someone else is in danger, we need to put our petty fucking fight aside for a second.
Or if you didn't make Lex Luthor the Joker, and you tied in somehow where Lex gets back, like has kryptonite or something, weakens Superman, or you find out that Lex has captured Superman's mom. Because then you could say, oh, it doesn't matter about what her name is. It's just the fact of, oh, wait, he has a family just like I did. And then you can tie in with Batman the same thing you were trying to tie in with Martha, where
I got one
his
for you.
mom is still alive, my mom is dead. I don't want him to go through the same fate I went through. Holy shit, we're in this together, not apart.
Okay, I got one for you. This will kind of...
Or you just don't have him fight in the first place. Like,
no, because it's Batman v Superman.
No,
have
I know,
him fight.
or just don't have a BVS movie. Because Alien versus Predator was so good. Freddy versus Jason was such a good movie. The versus movies don't work, but go ahead.
Well, I mean...
Alien versus Predator was probably the best of the verses.
I haven't seen it.
Freddy versus Jason wasn't bad. The worst is BVS. Like, that's just a flaming
Yeah,
dog
but
turd to me.
Batman vs. Superman, isn't that actually a thing in the comics, too?
What?
Isn't Batman vs. Superman a thing in the comics once in a while?
I mean, there are, and that's the thing that I think Zack Snyder's trying to hint at without fucking saying the right thing is, yeah, like the thing he could have just said was multiverses, man.
Yeah.
Your Batman is in a different multiverse than mine. Boom. Would have shot it down. But go ahead with yours.
So you know how they were having the fight. Batman has a few little Kryptonian weapon, or not Kryptonian, kryptonite weapons.
Yeah.
Where like he had the 2 canisters that actually kryptonite dust in the face.
Yeah.
What if it's like there's someone inside that building starting to collapse because he's got that kryptonite weapon. It's a little too close to Superman. He's holding up the beams, and Batman just sees this for a second, and Superman actually says, "Get him out of here!" Whoever he's got to save. And then he realizes, like, you see the whole situation of he's got this the kryptonite weapon that Batman had,
The spear.
too close to him, to where he's like that's why he's trying to hold up the building.
I'm all for it. You took my idea and made it better.
Yeah, he's trying to hold that building up just enough time for Batman to get whoever it is out of there.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You get that humanity thing.
That's why you gotta
without the dumb. What was your mother's name? Oh, we have a mom with the same name.
We just become best friends.
Yep.
Want to do karate in the garage?
Yeah. Like, I love Step Brothers, but I fucking hate the Martha thing. Anything you think? This has been a long discussion. You know what I would love to do?
Huh.
And I just thought about this on the podcast. A little brainchild of ours. I know we've said this before. I'm going to say it again on the podcast. Yeah, the podcast. Little brainchild of ours has been to do, like, I don't know what we're going to call it, because In Review has been taken by other YouTube channels, and I don't want to call it In Review. But I would love to do, like how we were going to watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but watch it in time, where it's basically you watch, I think the first few are like, you watch Captain America first, into Captain Marvel, into this.
Yeah.
And you watch them, how they would come out in chronological order. I still have that idea. We still have it on the back burner of doing those review podcasts and having that be a series. I would love, absolutely love, to do a kind of, this isn't the name, but this is like what it would be, kind of like a DCU in review, where we take the Zack Snyder film, so up until Justice League, I would say, because that's when Zack Snyder was officially cut. And we kind of rewatch them and have a discussion about them. And I would love to I would love to bring this topic back up, this discussion back up, with Pete here as well. Because like that was something I was thinking about, of like, man, this is something that you and I have such great conversation here, but there's so many other opinions that we could get on this. And like, I don't know about you, I've actually had a really fun time to talk about. I thought, coming into this, I thought I was just going to get mad. My blood pressure was going to boil. I made sure to not take my pills last night and take them this morning so that they'd all work in and they'd be like just a little bit fresher when we started the podcast, because I was like, my blood is going to be boiling when we talk about Zack Snyder tomorrow. But I feel like this has been a nice discussion, and I've really enjoyed it. A really nice start to the podcast. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below in that comment section. First off, are you on the side of Zack Snyder? Are you not on the side of Zack Snyder? And I'm not saying that for a hate reason. So if you're a Zack Snyder fan and someone says they're against Zack Snyder, don't bash them in the comments. This is just for, I want to know what point of view you're coming from. Are you somebody who is a fan of Zack Snyder? Are you someone that is not a fan of Zack Snyder? And then anything we talked about, his comments about the superheroes, how we're living in an effing dream world, his comments about how, I like the Marvel universe, but people have to be open to different ideas, the Martha scene, anything that we talked about in this segment. Let us know what you guys are thinking down below in that comment section.